You know, Bitcoin has been this unshakable rock at the center of crypto for more than a decade now. But what if a new kind of threat showed up? I'm talking about something so powerful it could just crack the very code that keeps it safe. Well, today we're going to dive into a story that isn't about rivalry, but about a really unexpected partnership, one that's designed to protect Bitcoin's future from a threat that is totally unique.
And that really brings us to the big question, right? Can Bitcoin actually survive the next generation of computers? Because this threat, it's not some sci-fi movie plot. It's a very real challenge coming our way, thanks to quantum computing. So how does a network that's built to be stable and predictable defend itself against something it can't even see yet?
And here's the crazy part. Its greatest strength, its stability, is also its biggest challenge. I mean, think about it. The whole reason we trust Bitcoin is because it doesn't change easily. There's no CEO who can just push through some risky update. But that exact same feature, that slow, careful, conservative nature, well, that becomes a huge problem when a massive upgrade might be necessary for its very survival. All right, so let's really dig into Bitcoin's quantum dilemma. To get to the solution, we first have to understand just how big this problem is. We're talking about a clash between Bitcoin's entire philosophy and a very powerful, very real future. Okay, so what is this quantum threat? Well, it's actually super specific. It's the idea that a new class of powerful computers could one day break the encryption that protects Bitcoin. You know, the thing that signs every single transaction. It's a signature scheme called SEEP256K1. Now, if a quantum computer got powerful enough, it could basically work backward from your public key to figure out your private key. And if they have that, they have your funds. That is the danger we're talking about here. And this setup creates a massive catch-22. Look, Bitcoin's protection is solid today, but the future threat from quantum computers could break it. So the obvious answer is to upgrade, right? Well, not so fast. The Bitcoin community is and should be extremely cautious. They're never going to adopt a new security standard until it's been proven, beyond a shadow of a doubt, to be rock solid at a massive scale. So how in the world do you prove a solution is safe before the problem you're trying to solve even exists? It's a real puzzle. This is where things get really interesting. See, to solve this kind of problem, Bitcoin doesn't need another altcoin trying to be better money. It needs something completely different. It needs a scientific partner. Just look at their missions. It's like they're from two different worlds. On one hand, you've got Bitcoin, the monetary network. Its whole focus is being a store of value, being stable, being secure. Then on the other hand, you have Qubitcoin, a scientific network. It's all about scientific computing, experimentation, and being flexible. They're not even in the same sport, let alone the same league. So you might be asking, what makes Qubitcoin the perfect partner? Well, it's all about what's under the hood. It has this incredible multi-puzzle engine that can handle all sorts of different crypto workloads. And this is the really cool part. It uses something called useful proof of work. So instead of miners just, burning energy to solve random puzzles, they're actually putting that computing power to work on real, complex scientific problems. What this does is turn the entire network into the perfect real-world lab for stress testing the exact kind of quantum-resistant tech that Bitcoin might need down the road. And this is how we get to Qubitcoin's real role here, its true purpose. It's not trying to be a layer 2 or build on top of Bitcoin. Think of it more as a quantum safety layer, a foundational research and validation layer that operates underneath it, supporting it. And here it is, the key idea of this whole explainer. Qubitcoin isn't here to replace Bitcoin. It's here to protect it. I mean, let that sink in. Forget all the talk about Bitcoin killers. This is a Bitcoin protector. That one shift in thinking changes the entire game, from competition to collaboration. So what does that actually mean? Well, you can think of Qubitcoin as Bitcoin's dedicated R&D department and its early warning system, all rolled into one. It's an external network that can produce the scientific certainty Bitcoin needs for any future security upgrade. It can run all the risky, large-scale experiments that you could never run on Bitcoin itself. And by doing that, it generates the hard data, the cold, hard proof that Bitcoin's developers would absolutely demand before ever considering a major change. So let's get practical. How does Qubitcoin provide this safety margin? Well, for starters, it can test new quantum-resistant signature schemes at a massive scale. It can then provide all that hard data and evidence directly to Bitcoin's developers. Crucially, it absorbs all the experimental risk, keeping it far, far away from Bitcoin's main chain. It can even pilot new hybrid security structures and, maybe most importantly, help detect new quantum threats early. It's basically a safety buffer, giving Bitcoin room to breathe and evolve safely.
So when you put it all together, what do you get? You get a positive-sum partnership. This isn't one of those zero-sum games where for one to win, the other has to lose. Nope. This is a situation where everybody wins.
And what do the players get? Let's break it down. Bitcoin wins because it gets a dedicated R&D engine and a way to future-proof its security, all without taking risks. Qubitcoin wins because it gets a super clear purpose and a defined role in the ecosystem. And you know who else wins? The entire ecosystem. We all get more unity and a ton more confidence in the long-term future of crypto. And this is more than just tech. We're talking about social and political wins too. An alliance like this shows the world that the Bitcoin ecosystem is serious and responsible about tackling future threats. It helps prevent all that fragmentation you see from projects trying to replace Bitcoin. And maybe best of all, it attracts brilliant new scientific talent into Bitcoin's orbit, people who might have never looked at crypto otherwise. At the end of the day, it comes down to this. Competing with Bitcoin is just a pointless fight against network effects. It's a losing battle. But helping to shore up its defenses, that creates an exponential mutual benefit. It's just a smarter way to play the game. So all of this leads us to a really simple, but I think powerful way to think about this whole relationship. Let's call it the king and the scientist. First up, you have Bitcoin. This is the monetary layer. It's the king. It's meant to be the immutable, stable, conservative foundation. Its job is to be the ultimate store of value, and that means its primary feature is to not change. It's the rock.
And then you have Qubitcoin. This is the scientific layer. It's the agile, experimental, high-speed lab. Its job is to go out and explore the dangerous frontiers, to test the kingdom's defenses, and to bring back the vital intelligence the king needs to reign securely for centuries.
And that really brings us to the final, most powerful idea here. Bitcoin stays the king. Qubitcoin becomes the royal scientist. It's a vision where Bitcoin never has to compromise its stability, but innovation can still happen, not in competition with it, but in service to it. The king stays on the throne, stronger and more secure than ever, because he's got his royal scientist working day and night to protect the realm.